and welcome back to the Agile and Nonprofits YouTube channel. I'm Megan Martin, Scrum Master of the Marketing Training Team, and I'm so excited today to be talking to you about Favro. Now here we are in just one of the many boards or collections that you can set up in this tool. This tool is probably one of the more complicated ones that I have seen and played with and kind of tried to set up very minimal boards and such. So if you're going through our videos and you're trying to decide which tool to work for you, definitely kind of pay attention to what all the tools offer and kind of the ease or more complicated that they are, just in case you're trying to teach a whole team to jump in or just yourself where you have a little bit more time to kind of play with it. So like I said, this one is probably a little bit more of the more complicated tool. However, it does offer so many wonderful things. So I don't want to make that complicated word sound like a negative term. It is definitely a positive tool to try. I do know a couple of the members that have come through our trainings work with this tool and are very pleased with it. So today we're just going to kind of go over a very simple way of using this tool, and then of course we can kind of jump in a later video of something a little bit more in depth with setting this up. So I have a couple different boards set up. So it kind of depends on what's going to work best for you and your team. The one that you're looking at right now is for if you had two teams. So you can have these boards set up as two different sections to have the boards, or you can have it just one big section and have boards kind of stacked on top of each other. This setup is very cool in the sense of like you can have your entire backlog like you see here completely set up over on the left hand side, and then your Kanban or current sprints set up on the right hand side. You're kind of seeing your team A and then team B, and then you can see what the other team, depending on which team you're on, is doing. So that's really awesome if you really want to make sure that your whole company is able to be all visible all at the same time instead of kind of siloing each team. And then of course, as the Kanban boards work, you can drag along project A, and then you can kind of see in the backlog that this all automatically turned into doing. And then if you see done, you know that story is done. So if there was a card in team B, let's say project 5 gets dragged over to team B. So you can see that team B is the one that's working on this, that's in the backlog. And then as it scrolls through, obviously, you can see that it changes over here. So it's really awesome that they're connected. So if you are like the chief product owner of all the teams, you can have just a quick glance of which projects are being worked on and what team. So as many teams as you have over here, you can see it over in here. Another collection, as Favro calls it, I have set up is your very basic sprint layout. So again, this is just that one screen. So the Kanban boards are going to be stacked on top of each other instead of seeing a left and right board. And then you can see that I kind of broke this out into sprint 1, sprint 2, and then you can kind of keep going. And then you can customize these fields completely, adding, subtracting, multiplying, and making it completely custom to what your team will use. You can do links, you could do tags, you can do more of dates, priority, like you see up here. Estimation is under there, so you can add if you're estimating with your team, depending on if it was time, which you don't want to do because time is always incorrect, or your sprint points. And so Favro is very similar to, let's say, ClickUp, or Trello in the sense of you can click on one of these cards and you can add more in-depth information inside that card. And then you can have your whole conversation about what's going on with that project right inside that board, or right inside that card, I'm sorry. Another board I had set up, now this one we're looking at a little bit more in depth. So this one you can see over on the left-hand side is a full backlog with, you've got your epics, which is in bold here, and then underneath those epics you have stories that you'll be working on. And then of course we created a custom part of the card kind of type. So you have your epic or theme is another word that you can use, and then your user stories. Priorities, of course, if you have a risk, if it's in risk of not getting done or in risk of waiting for somebody else or an impediment really, you can add that kind of column. Here is your estimation. You can see it's on the point systems, and then at the bottom it does add that all up for you, which is awesome. And then it does break it through to those epics. Like I had mentioned, you can add tags, your impact on your product goal per se, and then you can tag this to whichever team member you want it to be, so you can know who's working on what when. So then we have over on the right side is the sprint cards that are in play. You can change in any of these collections, you can change how you're viewing the Kanban board into a sheet view, which you've seen in a couple of the collections now. You can see the timeline of when these things are going to be done if they're time specific. And then you can see a burn down of those points going down as you're working on them. So as you can see that there's a predicted line because no work is being done right now. So it's predicted to just stay stable. If there was work being done, it obviously would continue down in this slope. And we have another one where I set up that you can see that these cards have dependencies. So if that's something that works with your organization and, item A cannot be done until item 4 is done, you can see that. And then once it's completed, you'll know that this one needs to be moved over and they stay connected. What's very cool about these is that you can, again, bring this down. So if this was a team 1 and team 2 and team 1 had completed, they can move it down and you can see that team 2 can start working on that. And just another way of seeing another sprint broken down into the kind of customization that you can use. Each one of these are different, but you can copy it, rename it, completely, again, customizable, and you can see within those sprints how many points are being planned. And then you can see for the timesheets, if a client is working and you need to bill them by hour or something, you can add that in there too. And then this one is a good one where you can see the timeline. So you can see that V1 is predicted to be done on the 31st, V2 is predicted to be done on the 3rd, and then V3 would be predicted to be done on the 4th. And then you can move these around too. So if a client calls and they need it a little bit sooner or something, and you need to play with the dates, you can see them right here and kind of move them around to see what works best for you. And that's really it in a nutshell. Favro is very cool in the sense of if you need to add Kanban, sheet, timeline, card list, or form, you can come in here and make it completely customized to you, and you can start right from a blank slate, or they do offer quite a few templates in here that are already set up for you and you can just plug and play. And that might be a little bit of an easier option if you're just starting out and you're not sure how much this has to offer. If you have any questions, please comment them down below. I hope this video helped, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.